Today, we're going to go over a concept that you can apply in any offense in the game, even if you're in compression, such as a bunch or a tight formation, or if you run an offense that's more spread out, such as spread or trips tight end or any other formation in the game. The concept that we're going to be running is a follow concept down the sideline, in which we're putting a receiver on a pull route and running a wheel into the sideline behind it. And the secret to this will be the pass lead that you use, which makes the animation very consistent for huge gains against the most prominent defensive meta that we face online. So make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Zan Madden YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, get out your pen and pad, and let's get after it. So we're going to be talking about how to get receivers wide open into the rail. If you don't know what the rail is, that's kind of that sideline wheel area that you see a lot of times running backs will attack in this game. But we're actually going to do this with our wide receivers here today. So if you guys are in a compressed formation, you're going to want to make sure that you're on the short side of the field with your wide receivers, because you don't have a spread out receiver as your pull route. You're going to want to make sure that we're doing this correctly here. So here's the concept. If you're in a bunch, such as the bunch tight end here, we are going to take a receiver and put them on a streak. You can choose typically the point man of your bunch. You could also use the outside receiver if you want to as well, but I'm going to choose to put the outside receiver on a wheel route. Now, in order for this to work, you will need a slot apprentice in this type of formation, or a hot route master, master tactician, or backyard quarterback ability on your quarterback. The concept is really two routes. And what you're going to find is that this is such a useful concept that you can apply against the most common defense that we face online, which is some sort of cover for hard flat with a heavy switch stick emphasis. And what we're going to notice is that when the ball is snapped, all we have to do is let the streak run off the coverage. And then we're going to throw a down pass lead. And while holding down, we're just going to press Y. So you do not actually let your thumb off of the analog stick on your pass lead, because that's going to be needed sometimes to turn the receiver around very, very quickly. Now, as you can see against this traditional cover four hard flat, don't worry, we'll get into the blitzes and all those types of comp defenses here momentarily. You're going to see that our receiver that is on the point gets out into the streak and pulls the defense up the field in the seam. And as a result, you see also that this wheel route runs into this giant void in between our flat defender, which is this player underneath, and the deep zone, which is following our seam up top. So all we really need to do is make sure that we throw this down pass lead and then just click on and press Y while holding down on the left stick. So again, my pass lead, I hold it down the entire time to make sure that my receiver is going to turn around when I click onto my receiver to make this jetpack animation here momentarily. Now let's go ahead and apply this into kind of the most common defense that you'll face online, which is going to be some sort of crossfire pressure or cover for ram blitz. So with this type of defense, you're going to notice that players are going to blitz a linebacker, and they are going to kind of come over with their user and stand here, and they're going to try to eat up the left guard, which traditionally allows the pressure to come in free and get to the quarterback. So that's what most players attempt to do. So in order to block this, and we've talked about this here before on the channel, which is another reason to subscribe. We're constantly talking about what players are doing online and how to beat it. All we're going to want to do when we face this is block our running back and half slide away from the pressure. I know that seems counterintuitive, but that is what you need to do. So we block this running back here, and then when I slide protect away, it puts the running back on that guy that comes in. You see the HB logo over his head. Then from there, we can go to work with our route combination. So what I'm going to do here is set up the exact same concept, but this time out of the play whips. The reason I really like this play whips is that this gives my opponent something that they have to worry about in order to take away that whip route. They're going to have to user it. They can't really switch stick up to the deep zones or to the outside. Otherwise, that's going to be open. And then because we know that this is a concept that a lot of times players are going to be having a hard flat on both sides and then just the user and the hook, I'm going to make sure that I just have something that sits down really easy. So I'm going to take a tight end curl and just stem it down. So it's just posted up right here. This gives me a low seam on both sides that I could throw to, and we're picking up the pressure. When we snap this ball, you're going to see here, they're going to run into the guard. It's picked up. And then all I have to do is just throw the down pass lead, and boom, this is an easy catch down the sideline. I don't even have to really jetpack this or click on and rocket catch it. And we're going to be moving for easy gain. Now, I did intentionally, for what it's worth, leave a no ability corner out here. This is a good rated player. It's a 90, I think 7 overall item, but I don't have a break on ball ability such as deep zone KO. I do want to show you here that this concept does apply against that as well. So I'm now going to sub in a player that has an ability such as the deep zone or universal coverage here. So I'm going to put in that new 99 Travis Hunter. And again, I'm going to skip the semantics of setting up the blitz here. We're obviously capable of blocking that, but I'm just going to play the cover for hard flat defense here. So again, you're going to see this time we're going to get a break on ball animation with this, and it really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and snap this ball. You're going to see that the receiver gets downfield, and then the KO can't get back in time to make this happen. So this pull route is super important. This is how we're going to run this out of a compression formation. And just for proof of concept here, you see that we have this DB with the break on ball ability. His back is turned to the quarterback. As soon as the quarterback goes to wind up to throw, he's going to start to break on this throw. So he gets that break on ball bonus. And you see that he's still way too far away to make this happen. Now let's go ahead and apply this into something that's more like a spread set. And the cool thing about spread sets is that you have the option to do this on the short or the wide side of the field. That's what makes it so valuable compared to a compression where you typically only have the ability to run it on the short side of the field unless you're going to utilize motion. So we're now going to come out in, I'll just come out in spread Y slot, and we'll run this to both sides. Again, with KOs now on both sides of the field here. And we are just going to shade down. We'll spare you the blitz setup here. So again, all we're doing is runoffs down the sideline. One thing to keep in mind here, though, however, is that choose plays where your receivers run streaks on the outside, because if you have that same hot route master, the up on the left stick is a fade, which gets a slower outside release. So I want to contrast what we see here on the left with Julio Jones to what we see here on the right with our streak to Calvin Johnson, or at least this fade doesn't have that exaggerated outside release that takes longer to get into the route. So when we snap the ball right here, you're going to see that the B receiver pulls much better than the X receiver does, and we have more room to throw this ball to our wheel route on the sideline. This is the best part about this concept, is that with everyone online running the cover for hard flat meta and just relying on switch sticks, they have to give up a one play touchdown to the streak in order to guard the wheel. And I'm going to show that to you momentarily. But before I do, make sure you guys go and check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. If you're enjoying this type of content right here on the channel, make sure you're subscribed, but also go to my website because we are focused on the meta year round. That's 365 days a year, keeping you on top of what pro players are doing, why players are going to mimic that online, how it works, and how to counter it. Our vault is where you can get updated weekly content, and you guys will get all offensive and defensive game plans at no additional cost, and members only Discord access where we have lab sessions every single week on Wednesday evenings to help you guys ask questions and get those answers to get you to winning more games and spending less on packs. Make sure you guys go check it out. $9.95 a month unlocks the entire website. Now is the best time to kind of get a lay of the landscape and what I did all year long, and kind of take a look at when I released all that content and think, man, that would have served me much better up front than waiting an extra 2 months in some cases for this content to appear here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel for free here. So again, make sure you guys go check it out. It's well worth the deal. So as I mentioned, players are going to start to try to switch stick with this. That's really the only way that they're going to have a counter to this, or what they might do is they might start to gamble and play kind of like a vertical hook style defense with cloud flats on the sidelines. This is a very, very popular defense where they'll switch stick as well. And the reason this is such a bad defense against something like this is that anytime you have the outside receiver on a streak in a spread concept, you're really looking at a touchdown. So it is a very, very dangerous concept to call. You're not really going to face this blitz too often because you see that B receiver over the top was wide open. I held the ball just to kind of show you that it's going to be a touchdown. So again, pretty easy stuff here on this. Now, if you guys don't have a play when you're in a spread set where your outside receiver is on a streak stock, here is a tip that I would give you to kind of get your receiver up the field faster. So we got Julio Jones here on this stock post. This is a totally fine route because you see that it's got kind of a streak component to it. Just go ahead and custom stem this and take it all the way up to the back of the end zone, and it's just basically going to operate the same as a streak. And now all of a sudden you've actually got a better route than the one that Julio Jones was on, because now it basically gets straight up field. There's no outside release. Even the slightest outside release is just a little bit closer for that DB to be able to react to the wheels. So now you're probably going to see that the Y receiver is more open than the A receiver in this regard. Again, though, nothing changes. We're still going to throw a down bullet pass lead. You could click on if you want to and press Y. That's going to help you just kind of get that receiver running away from the KO. So that way the KO, if it does get a decent animation, won't cause a knockout. You guys can also mix in deep elite if it's free on certain items. For instance, Cordero Patterson gets it. So that helps with my catching traffic down the field, even though I don't have AP on him currently on my roster. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow with our next YouTube long, or this afternoon with our next short. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.